He hadn't prayed in months. The last time he tried, it felt like his words had hit the ceiling and bounced right back. Unemployed, drowning in debt, alone in a dark apartment. He looked into the mirror and barely recognized who he had become. He felt invisible to the world, and even worse, forgotten by God. But that night, something made him stop. Not a voice from heaven, not a supernatural sign, just a question that rose from nowhere, like a whisper in his mind. What if all of this is just a reflection of what you believe you deserve? In that moment, he realized something that would change everything. What you believe in silence is shaping what you live in public. It struck him like lightning. This wasn't just about luck, effort, or even prayer. It was about belief, about what he truly believed, about himself, about God, about what was possible. And when he began to shift that belief, something started to change. Something that you need to discover too. If you want to learn how the Bible reveals secrets that can transform your reality, subscribe now. This channel is going to open your eyes. The truth is, a lot of people spend their whole lives praying, fasting, going to church, and still feel empty, still struggling, financially, emotionally, spiritually, as if something is always blocking God's response. And maybe, without even realizing it, that block isn't out there, it's inside. Because there's a massive difference between praying for something and believing it's truly possible for you. In this video, you're going to discover 5 powerful biblical truths that prove what you truly believe is shaping everything around you. Your faith, or your lack of it, is, right now, creating your reality. And if you don't understand this, you might be unknowingly blocking miracles that were already on their way. Not because you don't deserve them, but because you don't understand the principle. And here's the part no one talks about. You might be praying right, but believing wrong. And that's why your prayers aren't showing up as visible blessings. There's a little-known Bible passage that directly connects faith, mindset, and prosperity. And once you understand it, you start living with purpose, with clarity, and under God's favor. Stay with me until the end, because this revelation can completely change how you believe and how you live. The Bible gives us a spiritual key that often goes unnoticed. Proverbs 23 verse 7 says, "As he thinks in his heart, so is he." Such a simple phrase, and yet it carries enormous power. It reveals that what you think and quietly believe about yourself, about God, and about the world determines what you become. This isn't just ancient wisdom. It's an eternal, spiritual principle that's deeply transformational. Think about Abram. God called him the father of many nations long before he had a single child. He had to believe first to shift his internal identity before he ever saw the promise fulfilled. Joseph, sold as a slave, held on to the vision God had given him. He believed his destiny was greater than the pit they threw him into. And David, before he was a king, he was just a shepherd boy, but he carried the conviction that God had chosen him. In every one of these stories, faith came before fulfillment. This is exactly what the Bible reveals as a living spiritual law, what today we call the law of attraction. When you believe, you attract. When you doubt, you repel. Faith isn't just wishing. It's taking on the identity of what you hope for, even with no visible proof. So now ask yourself, how many blessings have you already missed simply because, deep down, you believed you weren't worthy of them, that you weren't smart enough, spiritual enough, ready enough? And what if all of that was just a reflection of how you see yourself, and not how God sees you? Now pause for a moment and allow yourself to answer honestly. If God gave you today exactly what you believe you deserve, would you be ready to receive it? Not what you say you want, but what, deep down, you truly believe you're worthy of having. Because the truth is, many of us ask for blessings with our mouths, but carry a constant sense of unworthiness in our hearts, as if prosperity is meant for others, as if God's favor comes with a secret list of chosen ones, and you're not on it. But what if that limitation doesn't come from God, but from your own beliefs? Maybe you grew up hearing you weren't good enough. Maybe you failed a few times and started believing you weren't capable. Or maybe someone taught you that having too much was wrong, that desiring abundance was selfish, not spiritual. The truth is, limiting beliefs create limited realities. And this isn't just psychological, it's spiritual, because God moves where there is faith. And faith begins with believing. Yes, you are worthy. Yes, you can. Yes, He wants to bless you. So tell me, what have you been believing about yourself? And what do you really believe about God? Drop it in the comments. Let's grow in this faith together. And if this message is already speaking to you, like this video now. That way, YouTube will know this truth needs to reach more people. And you'll be helping plant a powerful seed in someone's life. The life you're living today isn't just the result of your choices. It's the direct reflection of your deepest beliefs. And the Bible has been showing us this all along. But most of us read scripture like distant stories, instead of living spiritual codes, divine principles just waiting to be activated in us. Now it's time to open your eyes, because here are the 5 biblical truths that prove, without a doubt, that you become what you believe. The first is in Matthew 17, verse 20. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, "Move from here to there," and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. This is not poetry. It's a spiritual declaration of power. Jesus is saying that if your faith is real, alive, active, you'll have authority even over the impossible. The second is in Matthew 9, verse 29. According to your faith be it unto you, not according to your effort, not according to your need, according to your faith. In other words, you don't receive what you ask for, you receive what you believe. And that changes everything. The third comes from Luke 6, verse 45. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What comes out of your mouth reveals what's ruling inside you. If you're constantly saying, "Nothing ever works out for me," "That's not for people like me," "I don't deserve it," then your heart is full of unbelief. And that blocks the move of God. Faith isn't just quiet in your heart. It shows up in what you speak. The fourth truth is in Mark 11, verse 24. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Look at the order. First you believe, then you see. The Bible is clear. It's not about praying and waiting to see if it happens. It's about spiritually vibrating with the certainty that it already has. And the fifth, maybe the most liberating, is found in Romans 12, verse 2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. God won't transform your life if your mind is still locked into the old you. He works through renewal. When your mindset changes, your reality changes. When you begin to see as God sees, to believe the way He wants you to believe, doors begin to open. Do you want to live a new season? Then change what you believe. Stop praying for external change if, on the inside, you're still connected to fear, guilt, or doubt. God moves through faith. And faith begins when you believe that what God promised is possible. And not just possible, possible for you. That's the key. It's not enough to know God can. You need to believe He will, and that you are the target of the promise. There's a silent pattern that has been stealing blessings from thousands of people, maybe even from you. Even when you have faith, even when you pray, even when your heart truly wants to please God. This pattern is subtle but devastating, believing that God can, but not for you. As if faith works, yes, but only for others. For the more spiritual, the more worthy, the more perfect. And even if it's never said out loud, this belief lives inside many hearts. It's the kind of thinking that blocks miracles because it sends a clear message to heaven. I don't believe I'm part of the plan. This is one of the most dangerous forms of spiritual self-sabotage. And you know what's incredible? The Bible doesn't just acknowledge this pattern. It confronts it head on. Jesus saw it in the crowds, in the disciples, even in the religious leaders. He knew that many people were praying with the right words, but holding the wrong beliefs deep inside. That's why he taught us, with both authority and love, how to break this cycle of inner doubt, fear, and lack. If this truth has spoken to you, stay with me until the end, because the video that will appear right here on the screen, the teachings of Jesus that will increase your faith and reduce your anxiety in minutes, is your next step. In that video, you'll learn, step by step, how the teachings of Jesus can help you strengthen your faith and silence the anxiety that's been stopping you from believing in God's best for your life. And if today's message helped you see your faith from a new perspective, share it with someone you love. Sometimes, one message is all it takes to help someone break free from doubt and rediscover peace. You can be that bridge. You could be the turning point in someone's story. You are not what they said about you. You are not what pain made you believe. And you are definitely not what your failures try to convince you that you are. You are what you believe in your heart before God. That's what Scripture teaches. Your identity does not come from your past, or from your mistakes, or from your human limitations. It comes from what God says, and what you choose to believe about what He says. The truth is simple, but powerful. Every external change begins with an internal conviction. There's no use trying to fix what's on the outside if, on the inside, you're still living with a mindset that limits, sabotages, and blocks the move of God. Faith isn't just an expectation, it's a partnership. When you truly believe, you begin to collaborate with heaven. You start walking like someone who already has the victory, even before you see it. And that's the heart of this message. To believe with faith is more than waiting for miracles. It's becoming a partner with God in creating your future. It's aligning your heart with His will and saying, I believe. And because I believe, I act, I declare, and I live like someone who has already received. And if this message touched your spirit, subscribe to the channel now and hit the notification bell. Here, you're going to learn how to live with faith, purpose, and abundance, just like God always dreamed for you. This isn't about religion. It's about transformation. It's about living the plan. And that plan begins with what you believe. So let me ask you, what are you going to choose to believe from this day forward?